Hi, friends. Welcome to the Mastermind Moments podcast.
Hosted by your pals, Josh and Sasha.
Join us during our weekly mastermind as we collaborate on how to make the most out of our lives.
Not only are we going to mastermind our careers, we're going to work on all areas of life together.
Let's do it. Listen in as we make the most of our mastermind moments.
First and foremost, I think the most important thing I need to say, I'm going to say right up front, which is
Thank
congratulations
you. Thank you.
on 1,000 days without
Yeah,
gambling.
very exciting. I honestly, like I keep saying to people, it is comfortably my biggest achievement. I've achieved a good amount for my age in my life, but it
Yeah.
is such a monumental achievement to hit 1,000 days or to hit every day that passes now beyond the original kind of 2 years, which was my previous best.
Yeah.
And I think I never thought that I was going to overcome it, to be honest. I think it was always going to be there. And it feels so far away now. It feels so long since I made that last bet. And yeah, I'm very proud of it.
Wow. I mean, it's incredible. And so 2 years previously was your
Just less than
longest.
2 years. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Wow. It's incredible. I was thinking about it yesterday. Because you told me the day a couple weeks ago or last week or something, and I was like, it's just really exciting, and I'm proud of you that you fucking did it. You fucking did it.
Yeah, I did. I did. I did it.
That's something to celebrate. That's something to celebrate. So you celebrated last weekend by
Yeah.
or are you celebrating again? What's
Not
happening?
really. I mean, so obviously the day was yesterday,
Right.
and I was sitting on a train on my way to play football as the clock ticked. So I have the very specific. I think I told you this before. I have very specific time for every
Mm.
single. I haven't, and then for every single kind of thing I'm trying to go sober with, I set the exact minute, exact second that I last had a drink or last did a drug or
Oh,
gambling. So my last bet was placed on the 19th of January 2022 at 6:58
okay.
PM. They're very
Wow.
specific.
Yeah, very specific.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's nice to know that's exactly when it happened. That was the exact turning
Mm.
point. So I was sitting on a train, and like the moment it turned, I posted an Instagram story. So that was my way of celebrating.
No, I mean, I saw it, but I remembered before the Instagram story. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, not many
I'm
people
just
did.
throwing that out
Not many
there.
people. I think.
When it's your birthday and you post on social and then you get all these texts from people who forgot it was your birthday but saw it on social. I wasn't like that. I was like, "I know today is 1,000 days."
Nice. Is you? I'm
Mm.
surprised actually. I'm surprised you knew because obviously in line with your Duolingo that it's close. But I didn't think you'd know
Yeah.
the exact day.
I think you told
I
me
think I'm
last week.
oh maybe. Okay, all right. You should have just
I
rolled with
think you
it.
mentioned it. I know, I should have just rolled with it. I
Just an
knew that I've
amazing
been keeping
friend.
track. No. No, I think it's because we were supposed to have a very special guest, guys. Sorry for the misdirect. We were supposed to have a special guest this week, but hopefully she's coming on next week. And I remember asking Josh, I was like, "Isn't next week your 1,000 days?" And he was like, "It's Tuesday." I was like, "Okay, great. We're talking the day after." So amazing.
It still is perfect.
Would have been perfect.
Yes,
Still
here
is
we are
perfect.
talking.
We can still
Yeah.
chat there. I know, so exciting. Anyway, let's spin a wheel. How do you maintain a positive mindset during challenging times? Wow.
There's two core components. Gratitude, always. Practicing
Mhm.
gratitude. And
Yeah.
the moment that I fall off with my gratitude practice, my life falls off. My mindset, maybe not my life, but my mindset and my mental health falls off. So
Mhm.
gratitude is really important. And the other thing is affirmation, which kind of comes in line with gratitude because the way I practice gratitude is I will literally walk down the street. Wow, I'm so grateful for the wind blowing in my face right now, the rain drenching me, or trying to be grateful for everything, even the challenging things. But I
Yeah.
tell myself that in my head. And so affirmations also come into play there with both gratitude, but also telling myself that I am positive. I am all these different things.
Yeah.
And that really gets me into a sort of a strong frame of mind.
So your gratitude practices, you don't journal it, you just go and walk and have these, like, gratitude
Do you know what?
thoughts.
When I first tried to get into the gratitude practice, I did journal it. I
Mm.
think I think who got it. I think it was Steph. Stephanie got it for me. This gratitude journal that it was like a
Yeah.
365-day thing, and every single day had "I am grateful for," and then you had to fill out the box with, I guess, a few things, but what I used to do is take it to bed, and before bed and when I woke up, I'd just fill out the box,
Yeah.
fill out half of the box, and so by the end of the day, it was just packed with words and phrases of things that I'm grateful for.
Mm.
And so I did start out by writing it out, but I think over the years, I've found it to be just as effective for me anyway. Because if I'm walking down the street or out and about on the train, on the bus, I don't always have the journal with me because I'm not a lady. I don't carry a handbag with me everywhere in the least sexist way possible. So yeah, I find that it's more effective consistently for me to just say
Mm,
it out loud or say it in my head. So I
yeah.
find that's my biggest way to overcome and stay positive in difficult times.
Yeah, and also just as your accountability partner, when you move your body, when you, like, work out, you're also in a really good headspace. And typically when you're not in a good headspace, like, that's typically like, when you're not in a good headspace, the first question I ask is, "Are you moving your body?" And then when I'm not in a good headspace, the first question you ask me is, "Are you practicing gratitude and
Yeah.
meditation?" Yeah, like, every time, like, we might have had this conversation probably 100 times at this point,
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
but
Yeah, no, I'm fully aware
yeah.
of that. I think, yeah, definitely moving my body is a game changer. When I am consistently moving, working out, going for runs, my head just feels clear and I just feel
Yeah.
I can overcome most things that come up. They don't bother me. I'm a little bit unshakable in a way.
Yeah, I totally get that. I'd say for me, like, maintaining a positive mindset in difficult times is definitely, like, leaning on loved ones. If I'm not well, I am really talking to different friends, different family members. I'm just leaning on loved ones and people to to lend support, and it's really helpful just in number 1, processing through everything verbally, but number 2 is just feeling, like, support from other
Yeah.
people. Yeah, and also I just watch a lot of Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, my sister watches that. Can't say that would help me.
It's just if whenever I'm in a not a great space mentally, like, a Chipotle burrito and Gilmore Girls will
Oh,
just
it
it
does
just does
sound
the
it's just
trick.
like ultimate comfort, isn't it? Comfort food, comfort
It
TV show.
yeah, it's like the ultimate, like, comfort, yeah, for me. If I'm ever, like, having a bad day, like, that's typically a a pretty immediate, "Okay, take 1 hour, have a fucking burrito, and watch some Gilmore Girls."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Nice. So that's a good piece of advice. You should do like a TED talk on it.
Uh,
Just go watch Gilmore Girls and get a burrito. You'll be fine.
yeah. You'll be fine.
Depression
All of life's problems can be
depression
fixed
is
with these
just
2
a
things.
mindset. All you have to do is watch Gilmore Girls and eat a burrito.
Getting into meat of the episode, how's life been? How's life been lifing? What's going well? What's not going well? Let's chat.
Yeah. Do you wanna start?
Do I wanna start? Yeah, life's been good. The last, I'd say, week or so, we talked last week. Life has been really good. I've been making an active effort to actually leave the apartment for work. So that's been really great. I find that I've had to come back earlier than I've wanted to because either my laptops aren't charged or I couldn't work I couldn't work out of the apartment a couple of days this past week because they were prepping for Milton, so they put all of the furniture inside and then it like took up the co-working space and I like to work outside too. So couldn't do that, but for the most part been like go leaving the apartment to work. I'd say I think I did it 3 days last week. I really should be keeping
Yeah.
track, but I did do it not every day, but a lot of days. I did leave the apartment. And then the weekend was really nice. Just spent it was like I think it's my 3rd or 4th weekend in a row being in Miami, and it's really nice to be in routine here, and just the more I'm here consistently, the more I feel like I actually have community here, which is a stark contrast to where I was however many episodes ago when I was really upset about my community and, like, friends around me not being where I wanted it to be, but now that I'm here consistently showing up and involving myself in these communities that are super aligned, I feel so much better. Like, I see the same people over and over again at these wellness events that I'm going to. I'll see the same people at Coffee and Chill or the Monday free yoga or just like 420 yoga. Like I'll see the same people over and over again. And then once you see the same people, you're like, oh, okay, nice to see you next week when you chat about what's happening. And it's really nice to finally feel that. Our Halloween party is coming up in 2 weeks. I'm inviting
Not me
everybody.
though.
Everybody. Y Josh, you're just automatically invited to everything. I don't know why you get so fucking salty. Here, Paul, do you wanna say hi? Do you wanna an how do you keep positive mindset in difficult times?
How do I keep a positive mindset? You have to remember
You
that for every moment of darkness, there's light. And so when it seems most dark, you have to remember that the light is just around the corner from that dark. Today might be October 15th, but you know what tomorrow is? October 16th. Do you know what the day afterward is? The 17th.
I love that.
Josh says he loves it. He just finished a huge tax deadline yesterday, so he's definitely been going through a hard time up and
So
and
yesterday
finally
was the
better.
15th and today's the 16th.
Yesterday was the 15th and today's the 16th. That's right. That's right. Exactly. Coming back. Oh, okay, yeah, this weekend was really nice, like, really I'm feeling really good about friends and community right now. Now, after being in Miami, like, in my routine for the last couple weeks, now we're starting to get into my busy season with life, so I'll be my sister's coming to visit, we have a bunch of friends coming to visit, and then we get into November and December, which are really intense work-wise, but also really intense just with everything. Like, holidays, I'd say, like, end of October through mid beginning to mid-January is always very challenging. I mean, the holidays they're fun, but it disrupts your entire life. It disrupts, like, your eating with the physical health and the workouts. You get to see a lot of loved ones, but also you have to see some people that you might not necessarily wanna spend a lot of time with. Work is really hard. We're coming up to that season, so I'm just prepping as much as possible to be able to be ready for that. I was listening to the same podcast we talked about last week. I was listening to another episode and they same kind of people. I'll send it to you because I think you'd really enjoy it. But basically, one of the things they were talking about was that really stuck with me was if you were on your deathbed and you were looking back at your life, and let's say today's October 16th, and you're like, oh man, I remember October 16th, 2024. It was one of the most amazing days of my life. And you were in today, but as if you're remembering it and trying to find clues through your day of why it's one of the best days of your life. And I was talking to Paul about this on Saturday. We went for a little walk and I was telling him about this phenomenon. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to go through these next couple days and be like, man, I know today's one of the best days of my life. I have to find clues why, basically. And then the craziest shit happened. The craziest shit happened. And other people wouldn't think this is a sign from the universe, but I do, and I think you will too. Monday morning, I wake up and I regular Monday morning, I did all my like adulting and chores and everything on the weekend. I wake up Monday morning, I sign into work, I'm working for an hour, I send a Slack to my team. And I get a message from my work wife and she's like, Sasha, why are you working today? It's a holiday. And I was like, I today's a holiday? Like, I have the whole day off to myself. I already did all my chores, I already did all my adulting. I have the entire day to myself to do whatever I want. And it also was really interesting to put yourself in that mental frame. What would your perfect day off be
Mm.
with no real responsibilities or whatever? And I was really pleasantly surprised that it's a normal day for me. Like, I got up, I went for a coffee walk, I came home, I worked on my podcast for a bit, like maybe an hour or 2, and then I took a gummy and I hit the pool. And I had a really long pool sesh because the pool's been closed because of Milton. So I had a really nice long pool sesh. I had dinner with Paul, went to free yoga, came home and watched Gilmore Girls. Great day. I don't know if it was a sign from the universe. Oh, if you go around looking at how life is
Yeah,
amazing, we'll just throw you a day
yeah.
off. But I don't think it was a
No,
coincidence,
no,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah, it's funny how that happens. It's crazy.
Things have just been feeling like they've been in a good space the last couple weeks,
Mm.
like, things have been good, and, I honestly think since that a couple weeks ago, whenever I told you those profound mindset shifts I've had, honestly, life has been feeling way better because I find that recently and please remind me of this if I ever get into that, like, super dark self-criticism mode, which happens about once a month when I'm in fucking luteal, but I find that if I go through life and I know that every day I'm working towards my goals or my dreams or my manifestations and I'm doing something to better myself, even if that's like working on my goals or reading books or spending time with loved ones or spending time on my emotions, even if I'm doing one thing every day to progress my life forward, that's really all that matters. And the timeline doesn't matter as long as I'm consistent with my effort. And that's how I've been approaching life these last couple weeks. So I'm like, I'm putting in the work. I'm doing what I have to do. I'm enjoying my life and these things, these manifestations will come when they're supposed to and it's all great and dandy.
Absolutely. With that mindset, they will. That's how it works, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, literally. It's, "Oh, I know all of these things are gonna happen, and whenever they need to, that's cool. In the meantime, I'm just gonna continue to put good energy out there, do my work, just better myself, put more value into the universe, give as much as I can, and just sit back and enjoy the ride." And that's where I've been the last couple weeks, but it's been feeling really good in general. As far as areas that haven't been feeling great, I mean, like, my family stuff feels fine right now. Doesn't feel great or bad. It feels fine. I'm not really communicating that much with my family just in general, like, the regular amount, but also, like, my mom's in Scotland right now, so I haven't talked to her in 2 weeks. I'm fucking dying. Like, I miss my mom so much. And also just the I haven't this is something that kinda comes up pretty consistently, but I haven't been super consistent with eating healthy. I've been like, the weekends are very challenging, and then this typically, when I do our meal prep for the week, I'm very cautious and really particular about making sure everything is, like, seed oil free and, like, GMO free and organic and whatever, and, like, this week I just didn't really do that. I just made something and I'm enjoying the meal prep this week. Like, this week, I'm enjoying eating it quite a lot, but I just haven't been consistent. I've been, like, snacking a ton and, like, the food-wise hasn't been great, but I've also been working out, like,
Yeah.
fucking at least once a
S
day. Like,
so what's got in the way of the food?
I'm not sure. Life comes up or, like, I'm almost, like, looking for the short-term dopamine. I just want, like, a little snack or something, and I think I do look for the short-term dopamine with food sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Sure, and it
Yeah.
happens. I mean, we all go through those phases, and it's okay to go through those phases as long as it is just a phase, and it sounds
Yeah.
like it is.
Yeah. I hope so, but at the same time, this is something that's pretty consistently brought up with us. Like, I just sometimes I go through waves where I'm super fucking healthy all the time, and then other times I'm not, and, like, it's very much I don't know, it's a little bit more challenging on the it's definitely, like, weekends where I feel the most challenged, you know?
Yeah, which we've spoken about
Yeah.
before, and how has that been going in terms of the rules that you set out for yourself?
It hasn't. It has not I haven't been following them. I've just been doing whatever. Like, I'm just trying to think over this past weekend, right? So, Friday oh my god, I'm trying to even remember what I did. I know I ate poorly. I can't even remember what I did Friday night. This is crazy. Am my memory going? I know Saturday, went for the coffee walk, came back, hung out, 420 yoga, came back. Paul and I went out for dinner, and then which was Indian food, which was really fucking good, and then we got cheesecake after, and I didn't eat all my cheesecake, I had a couple bites. No big deal. Sunday, I had half a bagel in the morning and then didn't eat anything through the rest of the day, and then had a burger, fries, and a milkshake that
Okay, right.
evening, which I guess it is, like, 1 cheat meal
Yeah,
per
it sounds
day.
like it, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just being excessively hard on
I
myself.
think so.
Maybe I should, like, keep a food
I
diary
Yeah, I mean, you've
and
suggested
actually see.
absolutely, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Okay, we'll try it. I used to do this with my trainer. I used to have a virtual trainer, and I'd keep a food diary, and I text it to him every week, and then we get on the phone and we talk about it, but, like, as soon as I let go of him, I lost a lot of weight.
Right, okay,
This has happened to me before where I have a coach, I have a trainer, whatever, and then I realize I'm like, "I'm not really getting any results, why am I paying this person?" And then I let them go, and then I end up doing it
right,
myself,
sure.
which is
Mm.
interesting.
I've done that over the years, done something similar, where I've always hired personal trainers or dietitians. After a while, I'm like, "I get it now, like, I can do this myself," and I go off and I do it
Mhm.
myself. It doesn't last very long, I
Yeah.
think the benefit of having a trainer is that it is that someone to hold you accountable as well,
Yeah,
that you're
yeah,
paying them to hold you accountable.
exactly, exactly. That's where I'm at right now, but, I have an accountability partner in you,
Yes. You can send me your food
so it's
diary
good.
if you want.
We can chat about this week.
Yeah, I think a food diary is a really good idea because if you are being excessively hard on yourself in your head, to write it out and actually read back on it and go, "Actually, it wasn't that bad. All I've done is a couple of cheat meals or 1 a day over a weekend. It's not that bad," and you'll stop beating yourself
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be able to it's like a hard reflection about, okay, what am I actually doing instead of just speculating and guessing.
Yeah,
So I can totally keep a food diary this next week. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else, but for the most part, life has just been good. It's just been busy, but in a good way. I feel like I'm at the stage now where life is always fucking busy. It's never not. I just know coming up, starting this weekend, basically until the end of the year, or early next year, is just going to be nuts.
right.
Yeah.
Which is a
Yeah.
good thing or a bad thing in your mind?
We'll see how it goes. I mean, last year it's actually really interesting because last year, Q4 was the darkest one of the darkest times of my life so far. Like, it was really rough last year. October 1st, I of last year, I came across something very challenging in my relationship, so I was dealing with that for the entire quarter. At one point, I wasn't speaking to my dad last year for a month or 2. Like, just so many work was beyond stressful. I was working 7 days a week for 2 months straight. Like, it was just a lot of stuff all at once. And that was just, the tip of the iceberg. So many things were happening last year that I was dealing with, and this year, such a stark contrast, life is just feeling really good right now.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Long may it
So,
continue.
fingers crossed if you go through every day figuring out clues of how is this the best day of my life, I'm just remembering it.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's such a nice concept. I think it's such a nice thing to think and believe, and I mean, I've done similar before, not quite the same, where I'll be in a bit of a rut or necessarily even in a rut. I'll just wake up in the morning. I'll go, today's going to be a good day. Today is a good day.
Mm,
And 9 times out of 10, it does tend to be a good day. If you wake up with that mindset, that positive mindset that the good things are going to happen, and they probably will.
yeah, absolutely. It's just going into the mindset with everything. Anyway, how are you doing? What's going on with you?
I'm pretty good at the moment, actually. I think the last couple of weeks have been tough from a mental perspective. It's not been easy. I was really excited for my 1,000 day celebration. It wasn't necessarily just a celebration, so I went away for the weekend. I went up to the Lake District in the north of England with about 25, 26 friends. So it was a big Airbnb. We went hiking. It was beautiful, like in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of these mountains. And we just had a really nice, wholesome weekend. And I thought that was going to be the perfect way to celebrate. And it was. It was ideal, spending time, laughing enormously more than I've laughed in so long. Just having a great time, just feeling good, walking away feeling good. I think the other thing that I was looking forward to about that trip is after my birthday, I went to stay with my dad, who also lives in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of nature, about 2 hours outside of London. And I went to stay with him for about 4 days or so. And I came back feeling so good. I came back from escaping the city, spending time with nature, just feeling calm and happy and positive about life and just having a positive outlook. And this trip over the weekend was the first time I've actually left London since I went to stay with my dad in August. And I was hoping that it would have a similar impact because I was in a really foggy place mentally, very dissociated, just not having a good time. And it's exactly what it did. It's so apparent how healing nature can be. And I was spending this time in the Lake District and just thinking, how can I live in London? Like, I love London to bits, but it's a concrete jungle. This is a huge city. It's one of the biggest cities in the world, which is crazy considering the size of the country. But it's a huge city, and you just feel trapped here if you spend too long here. And I
Yeah.
never felt that until recently. I actually am starting to think that I can see myself. I always thought I'd always live in a big city, but I can actually
Yeah.
see myself moving out now, moving out to the
Mm.
countryside to settle down. Not now. I think I'm too young for that now. I still enjoy the fast paced life, and I can escape to my dad's whenever I want to at this
Yeah.
point. But it is definitely something to consider. So that's interesting. Because I literally I came back from this weekend, not just because it was wholesome and spent time with friends and laughing, but because of the nature. We went on these two big hikes. We climbed a mountain on the first day. We went on this sort of forest hike on the second day. And the forest hike in particular, it just blew my mind. I mean, I was standing at some of the viewpoints or walking through the forest and just thinking, this earth, this planet is so just mind blowingly beautiful. There is so
Yeah.
much beauty here. And there are so many realizations I had while walking through. Because it wasn't a particularly tough hike. It wasn't particularly
Yeah.
tough, but I was thinking about so many different things while walking. And we actually met this man who was out walking with his dog, and he'd been walking from about 7 a.m. that morning, and I think he'd peaked or summited 5 different mountains that day in the area. Like, he'd just been walking with his dog through this mountain range. Insane. And we were chatting to him, he was a really nice guy, and he went on to finish the final. I think he was doing 7 in total, so he was gonna go do the final 2. And about 5 minutes after he left us, we stayed at the top of this mountain, and 5 minutes after he left us, he wandered away, and you could see just this tiny head in the distance. It was him, like, we could recognize it was him, but it was just,
Yeah.
like, bobbing along the ridge line, the ridgeway, or whatever it's called,
Yeah.
and I just thought, we are so tiny as human beings. Like, we are such a small, tiny part of this world. Like, in the distance, he looked like an ant. You could see his head, but he looked like an ant. It was so small. And I just thought, we're so tiny, we're so insignificant in this world. Why do we care about anything? And not okay, anything's pushing it a little bit
I
too
know
far.
I know what you mean. I know what you
But
mean. I know what you
why do
mean.
we care about insignificant things?
Yeah.
Everything is really insignificant in the grand scheme of things, considering how small we
Mhm.
are and what a tiny part of this huge, magnificent earth that we are. And it sounds so woo hippy dippy kind of thing, but it's absolutely true.
No, it is. Yeah, for sure.
And I got back, I was driving back, and I said to my friends in the car that I was driving back, I said, I don't know, I can't even think how possibly get home after a weekend like what we've just had, spending time out and about in nature. I don't know how I can even think about going back to my bedroom, going back to my office, and sitting at a desk all day, every day, doing the
Yeah.
job that is so boring and so corporate and just dull.
Yeah.
It's just such a depressing thought. But I got back and I sat down at my desk knowing, because I'd had 4 days off, I knew that I was gonna have a huge amount of work to do. And
Yeah.
I sat down at my desk and had something like 100 emails to go through, about 80, 90 tasks to get through. So basically 80, over 200 calls that I had to make
Yeah.
in that one day. And I sat down and I just thought, you know what? I'm not gonna rush this. I'm just gonna take it easy. Whatever I get done, I'm gonna take a very laid back, slow approach and try and enjoy it. Try and enjoy it, because actually what I'm doing right now is so insignificant, and
Yeah.
it shouldn't upset me. It shouldn't bother me. It shouldn't cause me any kind of negative emotion. I should just get it done. It's just one of those things that I have to do today.
Yeah.
And I spent hours and hours on the phone. I was working solidly throughout the whole work day.
Yeah.
But I came away from it feeling calm and level headed, and with that mindset, I think, just as I said, nature is healing. And I came
Mhm.
back from beforehand feeling so foggy is the best way to describe it.
Right.
And it's just completely cleared my head. I felt really good. And it's only been 2 days since I got back.
But still, it helps a lot to get the fresh air. I remember when I lived in New York, I made it a point to leave the city at least once a month, even if it was just for the day, just to get out of the city, get some fresh air, because sometimes when you're stuck in a city bubble, you're so stuck in like the craziness and it's a lot. It's a lot on your nervous
Yeah.
system, but maybe making it a point to actually leave the city, even if it's for a day, like you guys have a lot of trains you can take to just outer parts just for a day trip,
Yeah, I mean, it's not even that. I mean, it's so easy to drive outside of London, and
Yeah.
I hate driving in London. There's so much traffic, it's miserable, but I actually do enjoy driving outside of London. That was the longest drive over the weekend. It's the longest drive I've ever done. It was about 7 hours or so, right to the very north of England, pretty much on the border with Scotland. Probably saw your mum in the distance,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, my mom.
But yeah, no, it was the longest drive, but anyway, the point is that I don't mind driving. I don't mind and I have made a point after visiting my dad's in August, I was like, "I need to do this. I need to get out,
Yeah.
whether it's to my dad's or other parts of the country where it's just out of the city, out of London, and just spend some time with nature, because it's really important." And I think, yeah, even once a month is probably achievable. It's probably doable. It's not
Yeah.
expensive to drive outside of London. I
No,
think
it's
I
not.
really need to start doing that more often.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's helpful. I'm putting it on your homework. Leave one other things that we talked about last week that I wanna just ask as your accountability partner. Did you go to the gym this week or move your body? Have you been waking up at 6:06?
I
All of
did not
that.
go to the gym. What I have done is 4 days of hiking, and I played football yesterday.
Okay.
So technically,
Okay.
it's been 7 days, I guess, a week since we last spoke. I have moved my body for 5 of those technically, quite
Great.
intensively.
Great.
The hikes were hard.
Yeah.
Football, again, really good example of the impact that the weekend had on me. I think we discussed before about how dissociated and foggy I felt before, to the
Yeah.
point where it was even impacting
Thanks.
how I played football. I just couldn't focus. Like, I was just having 2 weeks in a row, I had terrible games. Yesterday, I had an amazing game. I was one of the best players on the pitch, if I may say so myself.
I love how you called a pit
What would you call it? Okay.
field.
You would never say pitch?
Never.
Really?
Never.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what it means.
Yeah,
See,
I
for
get
me,
it. I know it from Harry
what
Potter.
we play is 5 aside, so it's 5 versus 5, and
Okay.
so it's not like a full size field. A field for me feels like something that's big, but, like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
quite
yeah, yeah.
small, so the field doesn't feel right.
Yeah, no, I would never use pitch ever. I really only know the word pitch from Quidditch
Oh,
pitch.
okay,
That's the only way I would know that word.
okay. Yeah, and it's not.
Add it to the list. Okay, you've been moving your body. That's
I
freaking
have been, and it
awesome.
feels good, and again, it was one of the realizations I had, and it's not really a realization because you've been telling me this for years, and I know this, but I was walking around, and especially the first hike where we were climbing, we actually, it wasn't just a hike, we were climbing out towards the top, and it was
Okay.
intense. It was rigorous exercise to the point where half the group couldn't do it. They were really struggling. And bear in mind,
Wow.
there's 26 of us, so there's a lot of people, but I don't think they were as tough as it was. But I was, yeah, climbing, and my heart was racing and my calves were burning. And I was like, I feel amazing right now. I love this feeling. And it was the
Yeah.
same playing football last night. For the first 5 minutes, like, I'm huffing and puffing a bit. But when I get into the swing of things, I could play for hours. I just feel
Yeah.
so good moving my body, my heart beating. It feels good. It is such a
Yeah.
game changer. So that's moving my body. 606,
606.
0.
Oh
A
my
big
god.
fat
Okay.
0.
Oh,
Bear in mind,
no.
I'm not gonna make excuses, but I am
No, you were
excuses.
you're traveling, whatever,
So,
but do it this week.
yeah, I mean, over the weekends, we would go for the hikes, and then we would stay up until 4, 5 a.m. and get 3 hours of sleep, so it just
Yeah,
wasn't gonna happen.
of course. Like, the weekends are difficult, especially when you're
It
traveling. I
was,
think that's the hardest.
but
Yeah.
Savita is she's encouraging me to wake up at 6:06 because as I think I said to you before, she's waking up at around that time every day anyway
Yeah.
for work, so she's trying to push me to do it as well. Hasn't been successful over the last week, but we've got 2 more weeks before she moves out, so
You can do it. You can do it because I think it's gonna create so much time for all the other things you wanted to do. I know you were talking about You sent a voice message to me about I mean, you've all since we've been doing this podcast and honestly since I've known you, you've always been talking about changing what you're doing with your career, with your job, whatever. We've had a new development potentially, but I think this 606 is gonna give you that extra time to
Yeah,
work on your other
yeah.
stuff. But as far as, like, your job, your career, alternative revenue streams, like, where are you standing with all of that?
Not great. So with my job, I mean, I said to myself before the weekend away that I wasn't going to make any rash decisions. I was going to take the weekend and think about it before handing in my. There's 2 months, so it's a good amount of time to figure my shit out.
Yeah,
But I wanted the weekend. I knew it was going to be a healthy weekend for my mind, so I thought, let me give myself the weekend to figure it out. The weekend only told me what they only confirmed what I already knew, basically, which is that I
right.
hate the job. I need to leave. And so my plan, honestly, was to serve my notice yesterday. And I actually said to myself that I know how much work I'm going to be coming back to. So it's a scary thought. And that's going to be the push that I need. As if I need a push,
Mm,
I'm going to log onto my computer, see 100 emails, 200 calls I have to make. And I'm going to be like, no, I can't do this. And that's the push.
yeah,
It didn't, and I think I'm a bit scared. I think that's what it is. I'm scared to serve my notice because I don't have a backup at the moment, and while I'm telling myself, if I serve my notice, it gives me time pressure to have 2 months to figure it out and actually push me into action because I have to do it, otherwise I'll be have no income. But it's scary. I think it's really scary, and again, today I had this almost 2-hour long meeting with my boss where we were talking through leads and opportunities and stuff. And I wanted to just shut the computer and jump out my I honestly okay, not quite. I
I
mean,
know, I know what
I
you're
was
saying. I
going
know what you're
mad, like,
saying.
I had a headache. I was like, "This I can't do this anymore." And I was genuinely at one point, I was gonna stop him and go, "We need to talk," and tell him that I'm planning on leaving and serve this tomorrow. I don't know, it's scary, and there is definitely there's a mental block there, which is understandable, I think, in this situation. This is something I've always had, and it's spoken about this before, where I'm in a
Yeah,
job that I hate, and I know that I want to leave, and I know I'm going to leave, but it just takes me so long to getting around to actually hitting the trigger, pushing the trigger,
right.
and that's what's happening again here. But yeah, it's scary, and I know I need to make that change, and I want to do it before Christmas. I want to be out before Christmas, which is time limiting me now. I only really have another week or so to serve notice if I want to be out before Christmas. Um, I need to get my shit together. I need to
Yeah.
figure it out. I need to actually, yeah, figure out what I'm going to do. An opportunity did come up over the weekend. One of my friends, he runs a decorating company, and
Yeah, when you said that, I was confused. What do you mean? Like, decorating how? Like, how decorating
yeah,
houses?
like paint.
Like, interior
No,
design?
like painting, and but basic.
Oh, like construction.
Well, he's not construction because he's not constructing. Like he's not building.
So you're painting.
He's a painter basically. Do you guys not have people who like just paint things?
Yeah, but I wouldn't call them decorating.
Okay,
Like, when you said decorating on your voice message, I was like, "What do you mean?"
a decorator
Like,
is.
interior design?
No, because it's not interior design. Yes, it's interior design, but he's not designing. He is the one implementing the design. If that makes sense. So he gets a
Oh, okay, okay,
paintbrush,
okay,
he
okay,
gets a
okay.
roller, a paint roller, and he will roll the walls, and that's I think basically that's all he does is he paints pretty much.
Okay, interesting,
Yeah.
interesting.
So he's yeah, my friend, he's a decorator. He runs his own company. He's growing his team of decorators that work underneath it. And we got chatting, and he was actually he's been hiring a lot of people from the Yes Spam community, a lot of our friends who we play football with, because he also plays football with us. He'd been trying to get them on board. And there's one friend who's in the process right now of starting up his own company, which is I think it's a terrible idea, terrible business plan. I won't tell him that, but he needs to learn. But I think it's a really
Okay.
bad idea. But I found out recently that he is while he's getting things up and running with his business, he's going to work with our friend Brandon as a decorator, as a painter. That sort of piqued my interest, and I just thought I thought, you know what, I don't really want to be a decorator, but sorry, a painter. sorry, a construction. But
What? I don't know. I don't okay, go ahead.
I don't really wanna be I don't wanna do this for the rest of my life, but I
Right.
wonder how much he's paying them. Just while we were on the trip over the weekend, I just said, "By the way, what's your day rate?" And he said, "For someone just starting out," he told me how much he pays. I don't remember exactly how much it was now, but effectively, it was more than what I'm making now, minus my
Wow.
commission. Because with commission, things blow up, but, I'm not making a huge amount of commission at the moment. It's a terrible market, what I'm doing. So, effectively, if I went to work for Brandon, I'd be making more, and I would have more freedom. I wouldn't be stuck at a desk all day, every day. I'd have a lot more variety in where I'm working, what I'm doing. And I just thought if I serve my notice and at the end of those 2 months, I haven't figured it out. I haven't figured out a new business idea. I haven't figured out a new job or my next step, or I haven't completed the finance course, whatever it may be, then I can go and work for him because I will have to fall back on and I'll still be earning more money than I would be.
Okay, I see what you
You
mean,
know
I
what
see
I
what you
mean?
mean.
So
Okay. Yeah,
it's not that I'm gonna serve my notice and then just after 2 months, I'm just gonna go and work for him. In my mind, I have 2 months to figure my shit out, and if I haven't in time, or if I'm close and I'm on the way, but I'm not earning enough money yet, then I have a fallback. I think I do have many fallbacks. It's not just him. There's other jobs I could get that would enable the same thing, the same money
yeah.
and quality of life. So yeah, that's I think opened up my mind a little bit. But I'm just yeah, scared to hand in my notice to be honest.
Of course you're scared. Of course you're scared. I will say there are so many I have so many thoughts around this, especially since you are someone who just when you're done and you're just like, "Okay, I'm up and leaving. Goodbye." Like, see you never, you know? And this is not the first
No.
time that this has happened. Like I've seen it happen with you so many, especially with your jobs. You bounce from thing to thing to thing. Even like at the beginning of this podcast, like episode 1 or 2, you're telling me you want to be a fucking school teacher. 2 weeks ago, you're telling me you want to be in finance. Like every other week, it's something different, but
Yeah.
how can you expect to be successful in something when you're bouncing around? Which, first of all, we're in our 20s. We're supposed to be fucking throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks and seeing what is meant to be. Listen, if you quit and you had 2 months notice and you did that, and then after 2 months, if you don't know if you wanna do finance, if you don't know if you wanna do whatever, and you work for this guy, even part-time and then do your own shit the other part of the time, that works too. I think but I would get really intentional about actually deciding something and sticking with it because nothing is going to be successful at first at all. It's going to take a lot of work to get to where you need to be. I will say the thought process behind it, some of the actual tactical things to chat about is number one, I think from just knowing you and talking to you, the ideal situation would be you finding a position or a job or a business or whatever that enables you to travel full time because that has been your goal
Yes.
for so long. I feel like you would rent out your room at the house as passive income. So you have the rent income coming in from the house, and then you go and you travel full time. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that is. That could even be like fucking there are places where you can go and you can just have room and board for free and then work on the
Yeah.
land. Like, there are places that do that. Like, you can I had friends who, like, went to Australia and lived in Australia for a year, and they did van life, but they're like, "Yeah, we just went and worked on a farm and lived on the farm." And
Yeah. I mean, that's
like
interesting, and that is something that, my dream really is to be able to travel full time. Travel and live
yeah,
and work from wherever I want. That's the other thing that I've figured is I think this place, my apartment, is tying me down a little bit in that regard. I've bought it. I absolutely adore it. I love this apartment so much. I wish you could see it. It's so
yeah,
beautiful. But it's tying me down. I have these monthly outgoings that I have to pay every single month that are draining the money that I do. Technically, with this job, I could actually work from anywhere in the world. They do allow that within reason. I'd have to work the office hours still, so it'd have to be in the right time zone.
right.
But I can't really afford to at the moment because of the amount of outgoings I have on this. And I guess the solution to that is renting it out while I'm away.
Yeah, you would no, this is passive income, you have to understand, I don't think it's gonna tie you down, like, I think this is gonna be an investment property
Yeah,
that you
possibly.
and just you have people in there, you rent out your room,
Yeah.
So you have 3
Very
people living
possibly,
in
'cause
there,
I an
and
option
then
I've
it's
been
passive
I
income.
yeah, no, definitely, an op 'cause an option I've been looking into seriously over the last couple of weeks is selling it. I've had agents round, realtors round. I've had 3 already. I've got another 2 coming tomorrow. I'm taking it pretty seriously in terms of looking to sell it. I don't want to sell it. I absolutely love it. It's
Yeah,
so beautiful here, and it's in London. Investment real estate in London is always a good idea,
yeah.
but I just don't wanna be tied down to one location. I don't wanna be tied down,
But you're not tied down. That's what I'm saying is if this is an investment property and people are living in your place and renting it out to you, you're not tied down to it, and also, you have family in the city that can help manage it.
Yeah,
There is an issue with the fucking carpet or whatever, you have family in town that can
I
come
do.
over, make sure it's all good, and your mom's in the fucking industry too, so she can,
She
like,
is. Yeah.
you
No,
know,
I
so
do.
it's not that it's gonna tie you down, like, you can that would be literally your passive
No,
income
100%.
once it's
Yeah,
up.
and something else I've been thinking is in an ideal world, I want a scenario where I'm earning enough money where I don't have to worry about this. I can keep this as my London base, so I have
Yeah,
a London home, and then I can travel as and when I want, and I don't have to worry about I can go away, I can go to South America for a month and not have to worry about
yeah,
my room because I'm earning enough money that I don't even need to rent it out. That's an
yeah.
ideal scenario, and obviously I'm renting out the other
Ideal,
rooms, so I'm still
right.
making money from those, but I just yeah, I that's the ideal scenario, really.
I mean, it's ideal, it's just gonna take time, and the thing is I think that will happen over time. It just has to right now, I do think I personally, my own personal opinion, I don't think you should sell it. I think you should keep it as an investment
Yeah,
property and rent out the 3rd room and then be able to just travel as you like. I don't know what job I mean, your current job enables you to work from anywhere, which okay, amazing. Something else that we could chat about partially offline, partially online, whatever, is that we have this podcast too as a
absolutely.
like, right now, we're just like, for everyone listening, okay? These episodes have not been released yet, so we have been doing this for, what, 3, 4 months at this point. We have 12 this is our 12th episode, I believe, and at one point when we do publish this, it can be a source of
Yeah.
revenue for us. So, it's something that like, right for at we're just gonna pull the curtain back on the business really fast for anyone who's curious and interested. I'm the one producing this podcast because my background with my other podcast is I'm producing it, I'm editing, making sure all that. Josh's job is all the marketing. So we haven't released anything, we haven't done whatever, but this is a possible business side hustle, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%, and to be honest, we briefly touched on this a couple of days ago. I genuinely see this as something as a serious side hustle to pursue, right? And yes, as we've discussed with your own podcast, it will take time, and it can take time to get to that point of building up revenue or meaningful revenue,
Yeah.
certainly meaningful revenue. But I genuinely see this as an exciting opportunity, and I think it's something, especially with having full control of the social media and the marketing side of things, which is something that I am good at. I've done it before, and I know how to do it. Is something that when we're talking about waking up at 6:06 a.m. and working on a side hustle, this is what I want to work on primarily at the moment.
Yeah.
But as we
Yeah.
discussed a couple of days ago, or not discussed, mentioned a couple of days ago, there is a mental
Right.
block there at the moment, which is
Yeah, and I wanted to chat through it.
I
What's
have
happening?
I don't know. I don't know. It's really weird. I have built up content, right? I've actually got
Yeah.
content and I'm logged onto the Instagram and ready to go. There is a mental block that every time I go onto the Instagram to post, I end up back on my own Instagram, end up posting. So I log onto the Instagram, which I've made a point for the last few weeks to just have our Instagram open when I open the app, not mine. So that stops me from scrolling as well. But I go on to the app, I open it up, I see the blank profile, and I'll load up, press the plus button to go and post something, one of the reels or posts that I've made.
Okay.
And then within a few seconds, I'm just like staring into space and I've tapped off our profile onto my scroller.
What are you
I
afraid
don't
of?
know. I don't know if it's
What is
fear.
this resistance? What is this mental
I don't know if
block?
it's fear or if it's maybe it is. Maybe it is because in my mind, I think I've told myself that I'm good at marketing. I've got a good track record with social media, and I come
Okay.
from a family. Bella, my sister, has completely torn up social media. She's got something like 80,000 followers. So she knows what she's doing. I know what I'm doing. Maybe,
Just
but
do
no,
it.
but I think maybe in my mind, like, yes, yes, just thank you, Shia LaBeouf. But in my mind, I think I am thinking, what if I'm not as good as I thought I would? What if I can't do it? What if I'm not capable? I think subconsciously, maybe those thoughts are crossing my mind, and I'm scared to let myself down, or also to let you down, I think is a large part of it as well. Because, yes, the whole idea behind this was we're doing this for fun, and yes, it's a business venture, joint business venture, but we see where it goes. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that might be what it
Let
is.
me Okay, that you're worried about letting yourself down, you're worried about you're filled with self-doubt and you're worried about letting me
Possibly.
down. Now let me give you the perspective on letting me down, okay? This also comes from my pushing you for this every week is also coming from my own triggers of I started a business with my friend and it ruined our friendship and she didn't do anything, okay? So my biggest fear coming into this business partnership was that I was gonna be the only one doing work, which is what freaked me out, and that's why I ask you every week, like, "How's it going? What's happening? What's the update?" So for me, I don't care and also keep in mind, I'm also do the reason I'm not doing marketing for this podcast is because I do it for my other one and because my background is in marketing, so from a strategic perspective and for other brands, I'm very good at it, but for my own brand, I've become quite a perfectionist, and I'm exceptionally hard on myself. We've seen this in other areas of life. And I don't particularly love doing it, so that's why I wanted to hand it off to you, mainly because I also don't have the time. So the only way you can let me down is not doing
Yeah,
anything.
which is what's
Like, for me, I don't right, but I don't care if you post something and we get 0 followers or we suck at it or we're just because that's the whole point of social media about any business is no one is gonna be good
sure.
starting out. Like, no one. Like, my original podcast, like, the first episode compared to the episodes now, like, stark contrast. Like, anything you start, anything you're gonna do, no one's gonna be fucking successful out of the gate, and if you are, you're, like, fucking
Yeah.
unicorn. But the only way to let me down is to not do anything, but then it's because then I'm stuck in that same situation I was in before where I'm the only person doing the work. And listen, I enjoy this work so much. Like, I enjoy talking to you every week and listening to the podcast and editing the podcast. Like, I really enjoy this work. So it's not like I don't feel frustrated per se at this
Yeah,
point, but I could see myself getting
absolutely.
there if
Yeah,
but it's also like the fear of you not feeling good enough. The only way to overcome that is to
just do it.
just do the fucking
Yeah.
thing. Okay, take out your phone right now, do it. Post the first thing.
Now?
Yeah, right now. Just the first one. It's already
Sure.
pre-scheduled
Yeah, well, not pre-scheduled.
or
Yeah, I'd have to
or
it's on my computer, so I'd have to do it. As in, I'd have to
do it
yeah, I
today.
will. Okay.
Just post the first thing
Yeah.
today, and then ideally, I don't wanna, like how much time do you think you need to, like, come up with the launch strategy
So I
this?
need to just yeah, I'll send that over to you because I know I know what to do, what we need to do, so I can,
Yeah, because I just need a plan
yeah.
about, like, when everything's because that way, let's say we wanted to start posting this just as an example, like, January
Mhm.
1st, right? Like, for the new year. I just need to know that scheduling
Of
wise so
course.
that I can get everything set up on the back end, and then also what you need from me with my personal
Yeah.
socials, like, all
Okay.
of that.
Fine.
And if you need me to take any content for the podcast, like, I can, just you gotta
Yeah.
tell me so
Fine.
I can put it into my
Okay.
own schedule. So, how much time do you think you need to do, like, the whole
I
launch
can get
strategy,
back to you on that
everything?
in the next couple of days, probably. Yeah.
Okay. I'm putting it on your homework for next week.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It is a case of just doing it, and I think the only way I can or anyone can overcome the fear of not being good enough is to prove that not to prove that you're not good enough, but to just
But
do
just
it,
to do the
you know?
thing and get better
Exactly,
at it.
exactly, and
Yeah,
then you will be good. The only way that you can get better
exactly.
is by doing things and practicing
Exactly.
things. Yeah, okay. That
I mean, honestly, I experience this every single day of my fucking life posting on
mm.
socials for my first
Yeah, we've
podcast.
spoken about it.
Every
Yeah,
single time. We've spoken about it. Every time I go to upload, I'm like, "Oh, am I being annoying? Do people fucking hate me?" Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just go off and off. And then this is also for people listening at home, this is something you might encounter in your everyday life. Like, you might feel not good enough for anything, right? And you just feel this resistance every time you go to do it, but the only way to overcome it and the only way to actually become good enough is to do the
Yeah.
thing, fall on your face, get better over time. That's the only way to do that,
Yeah. No, absolutely,
you know?
100%. And do you know what? I honestly, this sounds a bit silly, I guess, to an extent, but something that has
Yeah.
inspired me a little bit. Debbie, who lives in Miami now, we met at Ultra Airport guy. Remember
Oh,
Airport?
yeah.
He I don't know if you follow it.
His name's Debbie?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, but
Can you send me his profile? Because I wanna message him.
sure.
I can invite him to my
Yeah,
Halloween
absolutely,
party.
because he's literally just moved to Miami, I think, a couple of weeks ago, but
Yeah, Ez told me he was supposed to he, like he and Ez hung.
yeah, and I saw that, yeah. So, Debbie has been posting on Instagram consistently since we met, since back in March, was whenever I followed him, was probably April, I guess. Wait,
Yeah,
no, when was Ultra? That was March. Yeah, okay,
March,
so
yeah,
maybe April. And back then, when I first followed him, he had, I think, 70 something followers, nothing. A
yeah.
few months down the line, he's just hit 1,000 followers. And he is
Right.
posting every single day consistently. He's trying different things. I've seen him trying it. And to start with, the stuff, it wasn't very enticing. I wouldn't have followed him if I didn't know him. But
Yeah.
his reels are actually they're working, and he's really building up a following, and I think the 1,000 followers is jumped up by about 500 the last couple of weeks. He's really
Right.
hit the ground running, and I found that very interesting and inspiring to an extent.
Exactly, and that's just an example of, like, where we can take our podcast, and listen, it's really a perspective shift, I think, because it's yes, everyone's fucking producing content right now, and yes, it's whatever, but social media is really a tool and a mirror to how you feel about yourself, to do you use social media or does social media use you? We've talked about this before. I think it's just a matter of, I mean, to for me, I experience this every fucking day. I question myself, but I know like the content that's coming out now versus the content that is going to come out in November, I know is way
Yeah,
better. My content's always scheduled out a month in advance. So every time I do a new round of right now, the content I'm working on is for December and
right.
January. And I know the content that's gonna be coming out those days is so much better. It's and just even posting now versus, what I know is coming later is great. It's just a matter of doing it, and I'm here as your accountability partner, and also just I'm here as your friend,
Yeah,
your business partner to just be like, "What's working? What's not working? How do we brainstorm? How do we improve? How do we add more value?" That's what we're doing
absolutely.
here,
Yeah,
and as far as, like, you starting new careers and whatever, I do think, like, let's get going on this
yeah,
one as just an alternative stream. And then you have 2 months to figure your shit out and to look for opportunities to travel full time or let's say you never know. Let's say we start this and make it live to the world and it's an overnight
yeah.
thing. Aren't we just the biggest thing? We're gonna be like, "Oh, why didn't we start
Exactly.
sooner?"
No, it's true.
You know what I
It's so
mean?
true. Yeah, absolutely. And it's gonna happen.
Oh,
You're right.
yeah, and it might just take time, but at the same time, like, I enjoy getting on a call with you every
Absolutely.
week and
Yeah,
chatting,
likewise.
even if it goes nowhere, but it could,
It
you
could
know?
well do. Yeah, but we'll never know unless we decide to start. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, but honestly, it does take time. I definitely wanna go into this with strategy in general. Like, I can share with you my current strategy for my current
Mm.
podcast if you wanted to see it, just to see, like,
I'd be
mine is
interested to
based
see
all
it.
around the sales
Yeah.
funnel. Yeah. Yeah, mine's based all around the sales funnel where there are, like, 3 parts of the sales funnel. Number 1 is, like, awareness, like, inspiration, showing that like, show not tell, like, you are the example, you are the brand, like, showing how your results and how your thing
Yeah.
works,
Right.
basically. So, like, inspiration awareness. The second one is education. So, that is, like, tips, tricks, like, actual implementable tools that the audience can use to achieve the results they've shown in the first funnel. And number 3 is
Right.
conversion. So, that's, like, actually guiding people through to the podcast, and that I'm only doing that once a week, but it'll be increased to 2 times a week. So, like, for me, it's, it's I'm just playing with how many number 1s, how many number 2s, how many number 3s, and then working backwards and being like, "Okay, if I'm doing awareness on 3 days a week, these are the topics I'm gonna
Yeah.
talk about, like, in that." And I can share it with you. It's like a Notion file. Truthfully, I got it from a source. I'm not gonna share on here, but I'll share with you privately what source I got it from.
Okay.
And once you see it, I don't think you can unsee
No?
it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes. And I'm here as your cheerleader. You're not going to let me down. The
No,
only way you're going to let me
I'm not.
down is if we do
Yeah,
nothing.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're here, we're in it together, and I know we're good enough. I love listening to us. We also the proof's in the pudding. We've done an episode before on my personal podcast. If you guys haven't listened, go back and listen. It's the Visualize Meditations podcast. The episode came out May 4th, 2024. It was called Welcome to the Pod or something. And people loved listening to us.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You know what I
Proof's in the
mean?
pudding.
Proof's in the fucking
Yeah.
pudding. Proof's in the sticky toffee pudding,
The
whatever you guys
spotted
are
dick.
fucking eating. The spotted I know. I'm trying to yeah. Anyway, this is also super off topic, but next time you come, we have to go to Target.
I've been to Target. You forget that I lived in the US for a while.
I do forget because in my mind, I shut it out of my head because it makes me sad that I never saw you when you were here.
Yeah, we were in cities, but yeah, I mean, I've spent so much time in the US. I've been to Target.
At least you'll call it Target. I fucking love Target. It makes me sad that you guys don't have it. It's like the best place ever.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what we have similar, to be honest. We have similar things.
Target just has everything.
Yeah, we have supermarkets that have everything.
I guess. Who knows?
Yeah,
Anyway. Okay, guys, who knows when you guys are gonna listen to this one, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next week when we're masterminding at our mastermind moments,
with a special guest.
with our special guest. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have
Me
her
too,
on.
finally.
Ugh, I know, finally. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Next week.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow along on social media.
If you would like us to help you mastermind something in your life, please send us a message.
We'll see you next week on the Mastermind Moments podcast.